ground is frozen. The wind cuts across an open plain of ice and grass, carrying fine snow that never fully melts. The sun hangs low, weak even at midday. Nothing grows here for most of the year. No fields, no stored grain, no safety net. For Ice Age humans, survival depended on one thing above all others: food dense enough to keep the body alive in extreme cold. Hunger was not occasional, it was constant, and calories were not equal. Fat was everything. In this world, every decision, where to walk, when to hunt, who to follow, was shaped by the need to eat enough to stay warm, strong, and conscious. Without enough energy, the cold did not just slow the body, it killed it. In the Ice Age world, humans could not survive on plants alone. Protein alone would kill them. To live through long winters and endless cold, they needed energy-rich food that could fuel heat, movement, and thought. They needed animal fat. Large Ice Age animals like mammoths, bison, reindeer, and wild horses were not hunted randomly. They were targeted because their bodies carried stored energy, thick layers of fat beneath the skin, marrow locked inside heavy bones, organs rich in nutrients that plants could never provide. These animals were walking reserves of survival, moving across frozen landscapes. Every successful hunt meant weeks of life, not just a single meal. Failure meant exhaustion, weakness, and eventual death. When an animal fell, nothing was wasted. Meat was eaten fresh when possible, but much of it was preserved. In freezing temperatures, meat could be stored naturally, hanging in the open air or cached beneath snow. In warmer seasons, it was dried, smoked, or buried in shaded pits. But the most valuable part was not the muscle, it was the fat. Fat burned longer in the body. It produced more heat. It protected against hypothermia. It fueled long-distance travel across ice and tundra. Without fat, even full stomachs could lead to starvation, a condition known today as protein poisoning, where the body cannot sustain itself on lean meat alone. Ice Age humans learned this lesson through experience, not theory. They sought marrow by smashing bones with stone tools, cracking them open to extract the rich fat inside. Skulls were broken to reach the brain, one of the fattiest organs in the body. Organs like the liver, heart, and kidneys were eaten quickly, before spoilage, because they delivered immediate nutrition. Even blood was sometimes consumed or cooked into thick stews. This was not ritual or preference. It was survival logic shaped by an unforgiving environment. Every calorie had a purpose. Every part of the animal had value. Plants were not absent, but they were seasonal and limited. Berries, roots, tubers, and seeds were gathered when available, often in short windows during warmer months. These foods provided vitamins and variety, and they mattered for health, but they could not sustain life through winter. In many Ice Age regions, plant food vanished entirely for months at a time. Snow covered the ground. Rivers froze. The landscape went silent. Animal fat became the primary fuel that carried humans through darkness. Cooking transformed everything. Fire allowed humans to extract more calories from the same food. Fat could be rendered and stored. Meat softened. Marrow melted into stews. Cooking reduced parasites and increased digestibility, making every hunt more efficient. Hearths were not just places of warmth. They were survival centers where food was processed, shared, and planned. Around fire, knowledge was passed down. Where to find animals, when to hunt, which parts mattered most. Eating was social because survival depended on cooperation. No single hunter could bring down a mammoth alone. These hunts required coordination, planning, and deep knowledge of animal behavior. When an animal was killed, the group ate together. Food distribution reinforced bonds. Elders, children, and injured members were fed because the group's survival depended on collective strength, not individual success. Hoarding was dangerous. Sharing increased the odds that everyone would survive long enough to hunt again. Seasonal movement shaped diets. Ice Age humans followed animals across vast landscapes. When herds moved, people moved. This mobility meant diets changed with location and season. Coastal groups relied heavily on fish, seals, and marine fat. Inland groups focused on large land mammals. In colder northern regions, fat consumption increased dramatically. In milder zones, diets were more varied but still centered on animal calories. Food determined routes. Routes determined survival. Teeth and bones preserve this story. Chemical analysis of Ice Age human remains shows a heavy reliance on animal-based nutrition, especially in colder climates. Wear patterns on teeth reveal chewing of tough meat and sinew. Stone tools carry microscopic traces of fat and blood. Hearth sites show repeated processing of bones for marrow. These are not guesses. They are physical records of how humans ate to survive. Children were introduced early to nutrient-dense foods. Breast milk alone was not enough for long-term survival in harsh climates. Soft organ meats and marrow were critical for growth. Fat supported brain development, which in turn improved problem-solving, planning, and cooperation. Diet shaped cognition. Over generations, this way of eating supported the development of humans capable of adapting, migrating, and enduring environments that would otherwise be uninhabitable. The Ice Age human body adapted to this reality. Shorter limbs reduced heat loss. High metabolic demands required constant energy intake. Fat was not indulgence, it was essential fuel. Hunger was not just the absence of food, it was the absence of fat. When fat ran out, movement slowed, thinking dulled. Survival narrowed to hours or days. This way of eating did not disappear overnight. Even after the Ice Age ended, hunting cultures carried this knowledge forward. But as climates warmed and agriculture emerged, human diets shifted. The Ice Age survival logic faded from daily life. What remains is the evidence, buried in bones, tools, and landscapes. Ice Age humans survived not because food was plentiful, but because they understood what kind of food mattered. They followed the animals. They hunted strategically. They consumed fat with purpose, and that purpose went beyond eating. It determined how far they could travel, how long they could endure, and whether they could move on when the land froze again. If you want the next chapter of this story, how Ice Age humans traveled across frozen worlds, following herds through wind and darkness, subscribe and meet me there.